If you want to get healthy and start losing weight, then stop buying the meal deal. So this is for people who maybe are at work and in the Western world, and you go to work and maybe at lunch, maybe even breakfast, but definitely lunch. In my daily reality, I see people buying foods like this. So I don't have an exact example of a meal deal because I don't recommend buying meal deal foods, and I never do. But this is going to be a guide to show you what foods that I recommend to have instead at work on the vegan, high sugar, low fat, low protein lifestyle for weight loss and health gain. So hopefully you can see it's here in the summer, so the sun's not great for lighting, but hopefully you can see, I'm sitting down and, I'm lean, and I'm lean eating as much of the foods as I'm about to show you. So this is, I think, affecting a lot of people now in the West, where your daily routine is you go to work 5 days a week, so you're buying this and eating foods like this a lot. So you're probably going to be buying something like a Diet Coke or Diet Pop. Then you're probably going to be getting a packet of crisps, and then you're going to get something like a little sandwich, so it has like a measly bit of, you've got a sandwich, and then maybe you've got a bit of salad in there like that, and some cheese or a bit of meat or whatever, and then that's what you're buying every day, and it's just ridiculous. So this is, I think, very expensive. So £3-4, whatever it might be, every single time. And this is just, this is ridiculous way of eating. Okay, so this actually is an extreme way of eating, and the reason for this is because it doesn't conform. I don't like using that word, but it doesn't conform to what I believe is the most healthy way to live, which is the high sugar vegan lifestyle. And the reason why you're buying this is just because you see everyone else does it, you think it's convenient, and you don't really know actually how to eat properly. And that's because you've been told sugar's bad, and therefore you sort of got a very confused idea of what you should eat. And I also see people buying other foods, so that aren't on the meal deals for lunch. And I've got other videos showing what that's generally, it's high fat food. So maybe a lot of people, they buy maybe some bread or sandwich, and they put in it stuff like an avocado, which is meant to be amazingly healthy, or fish, which is again meant to be amazingly healthy. So I advocate for the high sugar, low fat, low protein vegan lifestyle and diet, and that's because it's based primarily on looking at what affects most people, and that is people are gaining weight, and heart disease is always the foremost cause of death, the foremost chronic disease, and this is because of excess fat. Okay, so you should always be thinking about your health rather than money or what other people think you should be eating. So sugar doesn't make you fat. Sugar is fat free. So even if you're buying Diet Coke, it's fat free. And yes, the normal Coke that has sugar in it is also fat free. And then you're buying crisps, which are lots of fat, so that doesn't make any sense, does it? And then you're buying a salad because you think, well, that's low calorie and it's fat free, presumably. And then you're buying some measly little bit of bread because, well, carbohydrate is bad, but a little bit of it is good. So it's very confused way of thinking. So you're saying sugar's bad, but then fat's good, and then, well, fat's bad, but then a little bit of healthy fat's good, and carbs are bad because I've got sugar free but then bread's okay because a little bit of carbs is what you need. So this way of eating is a very confused and disordered way of eating, and is expensive. If you're buying a £4 meal deal or whatever it is now today in 2025, this is, yeah, a ridiculous way of eating. And if I was ever caught eating like this, I would be very embarrassed. It's only because most people eat like this that you can get away without looking like a fool. So I'm going to show you now what foods that I recommend. So get rid of this rubbish, expensive, disordered way of eating, which is causing you to become overweight, causing you to gain weight, and lose your health in the long run. So you might be thinking, what am I doing? What am I doing? So this here, this little plastic box represents for your lunch, for example. Make yourself some white rice, okay? So make it in a big container at home, depending on what your workplace is like. Then you can make it up cheaply. So you buy a big bag. It might seem expensive at first. This 10-kilo bag of white rice was about £15. I think I maybe got an offer, so it was about £12 or so. I can't remember off the top of my head, but cheap. 10 kilos of white rice, and obviously that'll last you, depending on how much you can eat, a month or more or so, but a long time. And then take some in with you to work, and you can make yourself up a little pot of sauce if you want to make some sauce with it, with herbs and spices, or you could maybe use some soy sauce with it, and then take that with you, and then you can have that for lunch at work. Super low fat, high carb, and yet it's still got protein in it, so you're not going to fall apart. So that's that, super cheap. And then instead of buying these stupid Diet Cokes, okay, make yourself up some sugar water. So that's what I've got here, some sugar. So I'd recommend, if it's a 500 milliliter bottle, you can add 100 grams of sugar, white table sugar, for taste and for energy. So again, sugar is fat free. It's obvious, isn't it? So make that up, and that can be your very cheap, super cheap energy drink that doesn't have drugs, i.e. caffeine and stimulants. So there's that. And then as a snack during the day, you can have foods like this, which is some vegan marshmallows. Again, there's no fat in these, so per 100 grams there's 0 fat, and it's sugar, fat free. Okay, so there's that. And if you're going to have fruit, which again, yes, I recommend fruit, then I recommend having lots of it. So don't just have one banana at lunch if you're going to have one banana. Have, for example, 4 bananas. And that's because you need to get enough sugar. So these foods that I've recommended here, these are low in fat and maybe even fat free, which is what sugar is. So these are the foods, some of the foods that I recommend eating for, let's say, lunch at work, instead of the I'm just following what I'm being told diet, okay, for people who want to gain weight. So this is for people who want to lose weight and regain their health and be lean like I am. So as I say, 65 kilos, 5'11", and I eat as much of these foods as I recommend. So that's not counting calories, that's eating to feel full and not being conned by this idea that if you just eat low calorie foods or a mixture of low calorie foods, maybe at lunch, and then you get hungry, and then when you get home you stuff your face with high calorie foods, which are fatty foods, in order to fill that void that your body is telling you have, because you haven't filled it with sugar. So sugar is satiating because the body runs on sugar in order to power every cell in the human body. So like and subscribe, and if you want, that's hot. If you want a personalized meal plan, and get in touch on the email in the description, and that way you can have a personalized meal plan for you, the wasp, my little friend Waspy. And yeah, you can get we can work together for a personalized meal plan. So if you're thinking that you've been told that sugar is making you fat and you want to know more about, well, it doesn't, you can check out other videos on the channel. And yeah, these are all vegan foods, and it's simple really. There are some processed foods, like these are processed, but they're vegan and they're low fat. And white rice is a processed food, but also these are processed foods as well. And yes, there are good processed and bad processed, and not all foods are created equal, and the calorie is not created equal. It's about energy, being full of energy all day, and therefore you won't make decisions like this, buying drinks like this. So like and subscribe, and thank you for your time, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.